that. Good morning, guys. Have you seen that Volkswagen guy? The first place he tried to overtake was not a broken line, it was a corner. Nasanga Moroka Bidi. The second place he overtook, Omanyi, I find that also knowing the road you're driving on is a good thing. You overtake and then you find that Mumaso Jolaga overtaking wasn't really that helpful to you. So you guys need to be very calculative as you so that you don't really get that excited on the road. Nti ga yo abadde agenda kuyingira ki senga simutereddeyo mukono the first instant lwakubanti it's an ego thing with all drivers. Even if it were me and the first time I try to overtake, but I've already shown that I want to overtake, I'll definitely go ahead and overtake. But sometimes it's not like the wisest decision. You end up losing, and I also find that the person that puts a guard on the German car, but anyway, the driving wasn't really that good. And on highways, I find that we should be more careful on highways than in Kampala. The border guys are very dangerous, but the highways are dangerous because everyone is dangerous. You get there are possibilities that you will overtake and crash into a much more powerful car than yours, and just like that you lose your car. You may not lose your life, but you may lose your car. And the way I know us Ugandans, sometimes replacing a car is a hell. The car goes, it's a common thing, I've seen it. And then of course I've told you time and again, don't overtake in corners. Try as much as possible to not overtake in towns, because yes, crashing your car with another car might be that bail n'ogenda babagiyita bond emmotoka kubeera esigadde, but once you knock a human being, that's a very big case, and that's very possible in a town or in a populated area like this, because now we just exited a town, we're going to enter another town. So driving as carefully as you can to avoid trouble is good. Which take it. And then I also find that yes, we love to overtake, but overtaking a car and then just being in front of it is also not really something that I find to be a very good strategy, especially if you guys are not competing. Sometimes there is a reason why that car is driving at the speed it's driving at. There is a reason why that car is behind the car it's behind. Which take it, especially on highways like this, everyone would want to go as fast as they can. Which take it. But I hope you guys are well. Today is Friday, Question Friday. So today everyone should ask whatever they wanted to ask, and I refuse to answer. And me, I have my own question. I've seen the news, and I've seen the kind of parents we have today. Not all of them, but at least the ones that come to the news. Which take it. In the past, we used to see parents being celebrated. Literally all the time you'd be at a place where parents are being celebrated. These days, we see a lot of parents cursing their own children, but cursing their children after they have done bad things to them. You get, like a parent does something bad to the child, and then the child complains, and then the parent curses them. Yeah. So yesterday I was watching a clip of a Kadama that was sending money to her mom for 2 years, and she returns, and the mom had used all the money, and the mom is saying, go back and work. I used all that money. Now you can be a stronger woman. I don't know if that's something that should be acceptable. And then when the girl kept complaining, the mother said, actually, I'm no longer your mother. You get it? You have even ashamed me. I'm no longer your mother. And then when they probed more, the mother said, I had sleepless nights taking care of you. Shouldn't that count for something? And then the host was like, but this is your daughter, that was your responsibility. You get it? And then the mother said, yes, but now she has paid for my sleepless nights. Let her go back and work. And we have seen so many of those stories. Then about a month ago, I saw a story of a guy. He came from Cheyo still, I think Dubai as well. He had been sending money to his mother in Bali to keep for him. And the mother apparently used up all the money, about 30 million shillings. So the guy comes back, takes a bus to Mbale, and the mother has nothing to show, and not money, not assets. She just had used all the money. And then he was in Kampala and he said, you know what? I looked at my mom and I said, let me just go back to Kampala to avoid conflicts. And he says he came back to Kampala. He had nowhere to be. He just went to a friend's place and he was trying to calm down. And I think sometimes when these guys come to on the TV stations or on the YouTube channels to do interviews, they are trying to let it out, but they're also trying to show the world that, you know what, if you find that I'm not anywhere, my mom had my money, my dad had my money, and he used it all. This is why I'm like this. And sometimes they're trying to find help, that if you can help me go back, maybe help me go back. You get? So we have so many of these stories of parents eating their kids' monies, okay? Parents are proving to be greedy, yeah. And while we were growing up, I rarely saw stories like that. And my question today is, do you think that parents from the past used to be like the parents we have now? The parents that eat their kids' monies, yeah? The parents that fight for their kids' property. Wide load mujirabi, over what is it taking? It must be a factory equipment. It must be a factory equipment that they are taking. So guys, that's where my question comes in. Are the parents, do you think the parents from the past used to be like the parents we have now? Did they behave the way these parents we have now behave? I've seen parents that curse their kids for telling them what they are doing wrong. Of course, now the generations are changing. Kids these days will tell you what you're doing wrong, but apparently we have that thing, omzade tasobia. Also, do you believe omzade tasobia? Me, I happen to believe that omzade tasobia, because even the stupid guys that we see now, abataina magazine omulabi danola banga chimongwa, they will also grow up and they will have kids and they'll grow old and their kids will be our age, and then their kids will expect to get wisdom, words of wisdom from them. You get? So anyway, guys, that's my question today. You guys can continue. I can also ask your questions. I find that it's what is happening these days is not really that pretty, but it is happening, and that's why I ask you, do you think parents from long time ago used to be like these parents now? Yeah, good morning, Muyombia Mark, Morad K Momo VIP, Antonio Random Things VIP, Tumkunde Moses, Mukwaya Richard, Tusime Eddie, Mugalasi Joshua Mix Farm, Nathan 256, Studio 93 House Designs, Brigitte Kakai. Nathan 256 is saying parents of long ago had discipline, and so were the children. We the children were mentored, but parents of these days are so money oriented. Okay, so Nathan, if parents from these days parents are money oriented, why do you think they are money oriented? Is it something to do with the environment? Is this something to do with other parents actually having stuff and showing off the stuff they have, and then these parents feeling like, oh, I've not really achieved that much, and so when my kid sends me money, this is my chance to actually achieve something, and then they end up eating their kids' money? Yeah. So, but it's Question Friday. That's my question to you. It's not a way. Give me what I need. Oh, come on. Yes, good morning, guys. I hope you're doing well today. Chiza Tadeo VIP, Football Tribe, Abdurrahim Kasita, Saith Kagava, Ntale Samuel. Good morning, people. Today's question Friday, Sadamu, Betudamu Radio. And then today I have my question for you. Do you think parents from the past were like the parents of these days, maybe at what is social media, so we could not see their true colors? Because today, social media and the internet is exposing all the things that we could not see like 20 years ago. Now we can see. I actually believe the Gen Z guys are more successful now than the millennials, because Gen Z have access to information. I've told you time and again that I've inspected more cars for Gen Zs this year than millennials. You get it? For the guys that don't know, millennials go up to around 1996, and then up to 1997 nibatandika the Gen Zs. So millennials bebanze bebajeke abantu gwekyomanya anyone that is about between 45, I think, between 45 and 26, between 45 and 27, I think. If you're 45 and 26 years, you're a millennial. And then Gen Z start from, I think, 25 and above. Now, I happen to see that Gen Zs have quite some good money now. They know how to make money easier than the millennials, probably because they're exposed. Gen Zs are the guys that are making money from forex trading. They're the guys making money from Bitcoin. They're the guys making money from all these things that ideally you would think, how do you make money from that? From e-commerce. The guys making money from web design. And then for millennials, we are still used to the crude methods of making money, which tuchali muka tradition kali aka botakowa. Bana ba Gen Z, they know how to make money without actually getting tired. But anyway, my question is, are the parents of these days worse than the parents from the past, oba n'abedda balinga bano ab'ennaku zino just twabalabanga ku TV empisa zaabwe tezaalabikanga. What do you guys think? Because the parents of these days seem to be a little bit greedier. Yeah, parents of these days, I've experienced. I think I've shared a story with you of a lady that yagamba mama abani namugamba nze ngenda kuzaala obwana obuwala obunandabirira mu bukadde obunanzijanjaba obunankyusa pampa nga nkaddiye okitegeera. So the kind of parents that have children, they have children, they already have plans for them. Oyo agenda okunkyusa pampa, oyo ajja okunzimbira, oli ajja kuntwala e Bulaaya, oli ajja kungulira emmotoka. You get it? I've seen this. I don't know if parents of long ago also used to do that. And if they did, then probably that makes them the same as the parents of these days. What do you guys think? For me, that's my question to you. Do you think that the parents from the past are the same or behave the same way as the parents of these days? Yeah, because we have a lot of stories of parents taking advantage of their kids and then claiming nze nakuzala, nze nakukuza. You get it? I find that omuzadde eyazala n'okuza omwana agenze ku bwakadaama, you have no right to actually take any of their money, because bakadaama ate abasinga bambi tebaasoma nnyo, tebabaweerera nnyo kutuuka ku level nti omwana asobola okubeera ng'ayina ideas asobola okuexecutinga wano. Most of the girls that have gone to kadamaship, rawumu mugirabye, most of the girls that have gone to kadamaship, yeah, are the girls that could not even innovate while here. Beva singer. And majority of the time innovation starts way up with your parents. Your parents can advise you to go way to tea. The parents apparently don't also have capital, which and all that, and then they have the audacity to eat their kids' money. So I see so many of those stories, and it makes me really sad. And then of course someone has shared the story of Bebe Cool saying, Alpha, I know kumusasula sente because I'm investing zemu, yete yafutaina muntu yali amuyambye kubeera kyali okitegeera. I find that's in a way greedy okitegeera, for you to do something for your kid and expect your kid to pay back. I thought that when we do stuff for our kids, we are doing it for our kids to be okay. And if our kids ever decide to give us something, it's okay. But if they don't, well, at least you have a successful kid. But I see so many parents now saying, nze yakolera kino, nze yakolera kiri. Parents apparently today, abazadde abasinga, they don't even do things for their kids because it's their responsibility. They don't see themselves doing anything for their kids as a form of responsibility. They do things for their kids because, well, ate kati nakola ki kankuteekemu sente ozinzirize okitegeera. So what do you think? Chiza Tadeo, for you to see your logbook through the URA portal, you log into your TIN. Okay, log into your TIN. When you log into your TIN, go to portal, and then on your left side there are so many options, but then you will go to the option that says motor vehicles, and then you'll check motor vehicle profile. There you'll be able to see the cars that are in your names. Zonna zijja kuba ziraga number plate yawo okitegeera. So you log into your TIN, go to portal, and then go to your left side. There are so many options. Then you select motor vehicle and then motor vehicle profile. Okay, and then motor vehicle profile, they will show you the cars that are in your names. That's how you know. That's how you know. Yeah, so today guys is question Friday. Mubuze ebibuuzo tugenda kuba tubiddamu bwe mbasibizeemu ono waliwo asobola okubiddamu olaba nange ekibuuzo ekyange mwe mukiddamu. Now, sometimes I say, I talk about parents because it's something that I find should be discussed. Personally, I was raised by my grandmother. Okay, my auntie took me on from around P5, and then she died when I was in P6. So I went back to my grandmother. I technically did not have parents. I have never had biological parents. But I grew up with kids when I went to high school. I went with kids that had their parents, and during my S6 vacation, I had friends that I hung out with, and they were not in good terms with their dad. Okay, nga tata wabwe tebamulaba bulungi and it's not like he did something wrong. Nga taina kibi kye yabakola, but they were not in good terms with their parent. Okay, nga tebagala mama wabwe okusinga tata wabwe, but it was their dad that actually paid their school fees, but they were not in good terms with their dad. I found that to be strange, because I had always imagined that if I had my dad around, we would be in good terms. Okay, and then they were literally ngababera bayomba all the time. One of my friends actually knew how to play piano because his dad played piano, and his dad played in a band, in a bunch of bands. And then one of my friends, the auntie, lived on their dad's property. Boys quarter, and the auntie lived there. But the auntie was definitely richer than the dad, because the auntie was an engineer. And then I think the dad, I don't know what he studied, but the dad electronics. So the dad was definitely not so well off. But I find that the dad had so many kids from different women, yeah, and he was having trouble also looking after them. So there are some basics that these kids did not have, and I think I'm imagining that's where some of the resentment came from. Which take it, and of course the dad was frustrated sometimes, because you know how men can be when they don't have money. Which take it, and all. And I think sometimes he took the frustration out on his own kids. And I don't know if when they became men and started looking after families, they started seeing what their father was going through with the many kids he had. But I find that so many young men had this cat and mouse relationship with their dads, which I found to be a little bit unfair. And I found that their dads were actually good dads within the means that they could have, which they gain. But and then those are things that we did not see on social media. These are things that you had to experience when you were there. You were their friends, you were next to them, you were next to their dad and all that. You get? So being a person that did not have a father figure, I found that I was always drawn to fathers. Batata babantu babanga nayagalanga nnyo okubeera okumpi nabo, because I did not grow up with a father. So whenever I saw someone that had a dad, I was literally craving to be next to their dad, so that I can learn a thing or two from them. You get? But then the things that were happening between the dads and the sons were a little bit discouraging, which take it. And then Bukede TV came. When Bukede TV came, it started. Bukede TV started publishing news of parents fighting with their daughters, with their sons, over land, over men and women. Teta yadide mukazi wange, ate mama yebase ne ba wange, and things like that. And then I think Bukede TV is one TV that started bringing all that news to light. And then Facebook videos started coming on Facebook, and then TikTok came, yeah. And then when TikTok came, TikTok kind of also helped YouTube to be popular, which take it. And then TikTok is publishing a lot of news of parents that are literally doing things that parents should not be doing to their own children. Parents are disowning children because of money that children made, which take it. Parents are disowning children because they did not do what the children expected them to do, and the children blamed them. How do you blame me when I'm your parent? How do you sit me in a meeting when I'm your parent? You have no right to do this because I gave birth to you. I raised you. I had sleepless nights because of you. So do you guys think that maybe parents from long ago just did not want to claim their rights? Are the parents doing what they ought to do during these days and this day and age? Good morning, guys. Pius Luowa. Nathan 256 is saying Uganda's cost of living is so expensive and price fluctuations. Parents end up using their children's money hoping to pay back, but they fail. Okay, Nathan, if the parents actually use the money hoping to pay back and they fail, then how come when they fail to pay back, they don't actually be apologetic and say, so you was and in the end, they just decide to curse their kids and say, how come that happens? Yeah? And then if Uganda's cost of living is high, how come it's actually the parents that still want to have kids? I've had an experience where someone is actually grown, and this person is saying, Mama wange yali agala kuzala yo kana kadala. You get how come even with the living expense that they are experiencing, even with the not abazadde bambali myaka atano nenga wakyayagala okuzaala. Nathan, good morning. Sereko Starch, good morning. Morad K Momo. Wabuyi Nelson, good morning. Lucky Mose, good morning. Nathan Kadama ship. Hey, Kadama, every profession do you know juaya kantu. Workmanship. Eh? Of course, there are professions that don't have the ship at the end. Like me, I'm a dramatist. And what I do is called drama. Yeah, a musician. Nango bintu byokwisa bino biri fane. Mujukira go for eringa empisa. Ya pesa zange papa kati wuno mulima beka banaize kati I think Bombo Road is humbling me a little. Muyombia Mark, okay. Nathan, my parents of long ago are much better than today. These women of today are very terrible. Starting from their morals, it's all terrible. Do you think that it's just that social media is here? Publishing. I think people from long time ago did not have an outlet of their anger. Teba publishing anga bibaluma. Nekatife we can say gundo yankoze chino. And even say it on TikTok and the world would know. Watch take it. Don't you think that people from long ago just did not have an opportunity to showcase their anger, to talk about things? Some parents go as far as cursing. Yes, Seth. Sometimes I think that's why abana be warabazadde baabwe. Ngenda nkolimire. Good morning, Patrick Rio Poultry Farm. Mujunase Michael, which cars with a 1.5cc engine are good for first-time owners? All cars with 1.5 liter engine are good. 1.5 liter. If you get a Vitz with a 1.5 liter engine, you will enjoy. There is an IST, the old IST. If you get that IST with a 1.5 liter engine, you will enjoy. That Spacio, like 3 people that have given that Spacio up because of fuel consumption. Atenda na byagamba nga nenga temubiwulira. Nga temubiwulira enywa era nno ddala. What other car 1.5 liter? If you get like a Sienta, if you get a Ractis, if you get a Rumion, literally every 1.5 liter car is good. Now someone will say, Golf. I've seen Golf owners complain about 1.5 liter Golfs that they disturb a lot. Now all these other 1.5 liter cars, they are good. The only problem with like Nissans, or if you own a Nissan or a Mazda 1.5 liter, the consumption will be okay, but then all the money you save in fuel, you'll spend it in consumption, in maintenance. Yeah, and that's not a very good thing. At Olumu, you'll spend money on maintenance and even fail to maintain the car because the mechanic and then you'll end up wasting all your money. That's why when I'm talking about cars, normally I talk about Toyotas, because Toyotas are not only reliable, but they're also easy. They're also very easy to maintain. You get. Today is the first time I saw a Hilux with a broken ball joint. The ball joint broke. So today was the first time. I think that person is very poor at maintaining his car. Yeah. So Michael, I find that if you get a Probox, that's a Probox. If Probox will succeed, that's also a very good car. 1.5. I'm trying to avoid the EFI engines. Spacio, that's Spacio there, the blue car there that's entering the road. That's a Spacio. If you found a Spacio, a Raum, but the Raum also buy the new model, the DVTI one. It's also a good one. So literally all Toyota cars that are, if you get like that car, or you have a Primo, if you got a Primo with a 1.5 liter engine, maybe better old model, buy it. Yeah, then also that brings the Primo new model 1.5 liter is also good. Yeah, tomorrow I change that 1.5. Yeah, so so literally all 1.5 liter vehicles would be good for you. Just make sure you get ones that are good. Me personally, I also find that 1 liter vehicles are okay. If you find one that is still healthy, I drove a Vitz and I'll drive a Vitz. Oh, if you get the Fielder, it's also good. I drove a 1 liter Vitz. I've driven like 3 1 liter Vitz, and I'm happy with them. So if you get a 1 liter Vitz, it's also okay. So don't be stuck on 1.5 liters. Like that Suzuki Swift that is entering the road is 1.5. Yeah, it's also good. It's just that those cars' maintenance were too okay. When it comes to maintenance, it will eat you up. Someone shared the story of a friend of his that imported the Suzuki Swift. Importing n'agitwala mu garage okubaako bye bagikola okugifuuwa. Actually, it wasn't even going to be fixed. They took it for respraying. When they took it for respraying, emmotoka negaana okwaka nga bamaze ogisprayinga. N'alwana naye for like a month paka bwe yaleeta technician n'amugamba eno emmotoka bw'ogijjako computer oba olina okusooka n'ogireka n'esimula system yonna. So those cars, sometimes they disturb you not because they are bad cars, but because the way they work, the mechanics haven't yet figured it out. I'm yet to figure out if it finally worked again. Which take it, right? So that's why me, bw'oba naddala ng'oli beginner, I those cars zinyuma okunyo okugula kati ng'eyo Suzuki yali nyume kati nga atabagenda okugula car number 3. I can buy that Suzuki Swift. Nemmanya nti ne bwenfaako nengiparking ewaka sijja kubeerawo nga siina mmotoka. But if you're buying your first car and it's the only car you're going to be having, avoiding these other brands that are not Toyota would be the best idea for you. Which take it, this is a Primo. That's a 2008 model. Na iya jitomeza da. But of course it's a UBH. Nekati UBH ojiraba milioni 25 zikutte. Bweba mbibibi nga 24 kati eyo mbibibi maso njirabi. Bagigolola ate ne bagigolola. Inzo jifuna milioni nga 24 okitegeera ate UBH. Football tribe, of course parents of today aren't the same as those of yesterday, but we also must understand the circumstances within which we trade, especially economically. That's why you have an increase in the black tax. I actually think parents of the past used to also get inheritance. Yeah, and I think the generation of parents that gave birth to us is the generation that last got inheritance. Okitegeera kati ate bo bwe bafuna inheritance nga bwe bafunye butono nga tebalina bwe babugaba. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Nga they have no way of distributing those things to their kids n'abaana baabwe ne bagaba kati bwe bazaala abaana bangi, and of course the economy is also not so pretty, so they end up having to sell the land that they inherited from their parents. Now when they sell the things, what they inherited from their parents, yeah, so they have nothing left to give as inheritance to their own kids. You get? So I find that yes, that happens. But what about the cursing that they do after they eat their kids' money, and then they also end up cursing? They end up cursing their kids. What's up with that? What's up with them cursing their kids? Good morning, Enoch. So guys, my question to you guys, as you also ask me your own questions, is why are parents of these days, why are parents of these days making the news for the bad reasons? Of course, the African model of parenting is not the best. I'm not a fan of it. The African model of parenting, which says omzadde tasobya, is, I find that it's a very backward mode. Me, I know that omzadde asobya because we know that we went to school with some of the guys that you would call retarded, but even those retarded people have had kids, and their kids are going to grow up, and these retards are going to be 50 and 60, and these retards will be expected to be wiser than their own kids, which say yet they are retards, and we know. You get, eh? And then these retards will be telling their kids omzadde tasobya, omukadde magezi. You get, yet they are retards, and everyone knows. It's like the people that grew up with them will know that they are retards. They are not as wise as their kids want them to be. Which take here. Okay. Good morning, Arthur. For me, I think this kind of behavior among parents has existed since the time immemorial, but because there were no platforms for publicizing these behaviors. Okay, Louis, good morning. Council Patrick Asik, good morning. Seth Kagaba says, to survive the curses, you have to cry of not having money all the time. Yes. Arthur, is it worth me to sell out my Alteza for a Mark X? That's math. It should be pure math. It should be pure math. Why are you saying the Alteza? Do you want to just upgrade? Yeah, it's you who knows whether it's worth it, because the Alteza still consumes a lot of fuel, but the Mark X might consume a little more. The situation of kids loving one of the parents is an influence, especially mother turning kids versus their father. Oh, today we have a bigger working economy of both business, white collar and blue collar jobs, unlike times gone when most economic work was agriculture, and the government jobs, families were more governments were more self-reliant, families were more self-reliant. Arthur, lwaki emotoka z'ebiseera bino baziteekako nnyo gutter, even if it's new, but the previous, what do you mean gutter? Richard, what do you mean gutter? Arthur, I was raised by my mom from day one. My father has not been in my life. I totally have no attachment to my father. Arthur, truth is parents of old days are so much different from the parents of these days, because parents of old days had many things to do, like vast land, which made them busy in farming. Some parents have abused their kids. People doing odd jobs send money from home for development, and they use the money contrary to the wishes of the Kadama. Parents should style up. About the topic, the moral fabric has greatly broken. Parents claim their kids won't go through what they experienced if they have some money, which I find absurd. Second question, so I can use the engine of 1.5cc in a Harrier Kaundo? No, you can't. No, you can't. You either can afford a Harrier Kaundo or you can't. If you can't afford the Kaundo, leave it. Struggle most of the time turns us into great people. For me, I remember when I was young, I kept my 500 shillings with my mom. When I asked for it some months, yambuza tewalya mmere, tewakozeseza sabuni, tewanaaba. That's how when nagwawo Uganda. Okay, Omeja Moses, good morning. Hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men. It's a cycle. I think we the millennials got a chance to be raised by parents kuba twakulira ku hard copy kind of life. It has a lot to offer. Arthur, most mothers are terrible. They can blackmail you before your children. Most men face this. Man. No, I personally, I find that, and I learned the hard way, I realized that it's better you stay away from your parents for some time, for a very long time, and see them for brief periods of time. Otherwise, ojja kumaliriza nga bakukolimidde. Olina babeera wala. And I think it's something that I was doing nga sikimanyi na kukimanya, that apparently every time your parent wants to see you, they want money. Okitegera ayagala kulaba because akimanyi wojjojja ne ssente oba olina by'oleeta. Okitegeera bw'otaleeta ayinza obutagamba, naye bw'abaako n'omulala aleeta bw'aba ayagala okusinga gw'atakola ki, gw'ataleeta. And I also find that parents play their own kids. And when we were talking, oba nali njogerana nangamba munnange bajjajja abasinga bwe batyo bwe bali. So apparently a grandmother will be when bw'alaba omuzzukulu, oli omuzzukulu bw'ajjanga alina kyaleese, oyo gw'awaana. Kati n'olulala omulala bw'aleeta ng'awaana oyo bambi gwe weebale nnyo tolinga banno. Okitegeera, I find that parents actually blackmail their kids now, and because I work with a lot of young people, I see that a lot. Parents blackmail a lot. They find ways to blackmail you, to show you that you better help me. If you don't help me, no one will help me. Okitegeera, and I think we should use it as a learning thing, a lesson for okwekolerera. Tuleme kulinda ate baana baffe kutuyamba. Okitegeera, it's not a very pretty thing when your kids are also struggling to make ends meet, yet they also have to struggle to make it for you. Okitegeera. I'll give you an example. So many people abali myaka 5-6, they have not finished their houses, and they are waiting for the kwanjulas of their kids, for the kids to finish the houses. Era when the kwanjula comes, then they'll start saying kayatono omwami onomuleta ku nyumba etawedde musooke mugizimbe mugimale. Okitegeera. And there are so many cuttings. Eyo gyembeera wali amayumba g'abakadde mangi, and I can tell you that the houses are finished only in the front, because bali baagala bakoleka abakowe banaalaba. Kati omwana bamuteeka ku pressure ni naakolako kyasobola. Okitegeera, akolako kyasobola. Kati olumu ng'omwana kyasobola kuddamu ku roofinga n'akubako plaster maaso n'asiigawo ne paint. Okitegeera. So the kids are on pressure to do what their parents could not do, yet they also have to do what their parents could not do in their own lives. You get? I find that it's not a very good thing. Did the parents of the past expect their kids to do the same? Did parents of the past expect their kids to do the same that the parents of these days expect their kids to do? And do you think it's pretty? Is it proper that happens? Na bwensanga ekitala nga kitadde. I find that the issue of parents these days is very personal to literally everyone here. Do you know how I know that? It's because the comments that you guys are writing are longer than usual. You get, normally the comments are 1 line, 2 lines, but this topic today, the comments are on average 4 lines, which is long, which is really long. So I find that the topic is dear. It's not proper for you guys to kuba bitala. Some parents apologize for using their children's money and fail to pay back. Some parents play the card of nakuteka musente zange plus okuzala. It's not proper at all. The fact that we have been warned from childhood that a cheating from relatives and friends has always existed since time immemorial. But then I find that parents should not at any one moment take their kids' monies without permission. I can tell you that since time immemorial, yes, it has existed. But I find that parents should ask their kids permission before using the money. There is a time, I've not even seen this gentleman here again. There is a gentleman that sent me inspection money. Nangamba Arthur Nonyeza, clearly he did not have a lot of money. He told me, Arthur, you look for a Carib. I'm not in the country, but you look for a good Carib. When you see it, I'll tell my mom to come and pay for the car. If she likes it, she will pay. Okay? So we look for a Carib, and we get a Carib at link. I think it was about 5 million. And then the guy tells me, okay, you have seen it, mom will come tomorrow. So the guy actually thought the mom had his money, and all she had to do was come look at the car, and if she likes it, she pays for the car and she takes it home. So the day comes and I wait. The mom did not show up. So day 2 comes. I text this guy and say, okay, what happened? And then the guy says, my mom doesn't have the money. I think that those are the words he used. So it was clear that the mom had used up his money, but I find that he was taking it as a man, like a man. There is money for him at home. And then the guy that when we saw the Carib, I think the guy, because there were many people that wanted to buy the Carib, the guy made me pay 100,000 to keep it. Because and then he was like, okay, and I give him 100,000. But the mom did not show up. I find that yes, if Aban kept money with me, yeah, I would have to ask for his permission before I use his money, because it is his money. For example, we have piggy banks for our sons, and we put money. I think I should go with change today to take him. So we have their piggy banks, but we cannot use their money in their piggy banks. If we have to break their piggy banks, they have to be there. But I mean, a piggy bank is about choosing menu. But again, to mademu sente weziti. Right? And then we have to, if we want to use their money, we have to ask for their permission. But I think abazadde abazala ba millennials ne Gen Z tebannakitegeera sente z'omwana ziba za mwana. I think also parents need to understand that you did not do anyone a favor by having this kid. You did not do them a favor. Senga tewamuzaala teyali badde talina kyafiirwa. And this is something that I tell you guys here. I think I say this a lot of time. You're not doing your kids a favor by producing them. Bw'otamuzaala talina kyafiirwa. You get it? Bw'otamuzaala talina kyafiirwa. And this is something that you need to remind yourself of. If you don't have your child doesn't lose anything because you've not had them. And then the other thing that I think we should be reminding ourselves of is that, and this, we joke about this at the office so many times. If I were born in America, I would be better off than if I were born in Uganda. So there is no reason why a parent that had a child in Uganda thinks that she or he did the child a favor by having them in Uganda. There is a lot of struggle. Like you give birth to a child that is a border rider, and then you go ahead and tell them nakuzala senga sakuzala wali badde woli. Do you really think that this child is living the life of their life, the time of their lives, riding a border? Which tegi, right? And I think it's a global thing, by the way. It should be happening ne mu America nga yensonga lwaki abaana bakula mbadduka ewaka n'agenda n'abeera bibye munaye abasuubuzi balaka bakya striking. Our collaborative cars like the Toyota Starlet, Suzuki Baleno and Toyota Urban Cruiser and as reliable as Toyota own models. I still Starlet Corolla Cross on YouTube. Well, I think those cars are still reliable. You just have to know who is giving majority of the spares. Yeah, and then you need to know where will I source the spares. The actual thing should be where will I get the spares. Now, are collaborative cars as reliable? Yes, they are still reliable. The Toyota Starlet, the new Toyota Starlet has mostly Suzuki parts. It has Toyota branding, yeah, but it has Suzuki parts, which means if you're going to be buying spares, you'll be buying majority Suzuki spares. But now what happens with collaborations like that is that Toyota is putting their brand at risk. So Toyota makes sure that they use their networks to create spares for those cars. Okay? And the spares will be available because Toyota is also part of the production of this car. Now, then the thing that you're going to be asking yourself is, will it be cheap or affordable to maintain the Toyota Starlet or the Suzuki Baleno? No, it will not be as affordable as it is to maintain a Vitz, because that car is a new model of a car. So the spares are definitely more expensive than the old model cars. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Maintaining a 2021 model car is much more expensive than maintaining a 2008 model. Why? The 2008 model vehicle has spares more available than the 2021 model. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Maintaining a Harrier old model is cheaper than maintaining a Harrier 2012. Why? Because a 2012 model Harrier has spares that are not very common. Morning,
sir.
Morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
Fine, sir. How are you? Ebintu ebyo twamala ate kati ennaku zino omunaye kyaseka nnyo n'abasirikale abo bw'oseka nabo bw'aba akulinako ekintu ng'akigamba ng'afuna bwakunyiga. Kye muba mulaba ne bwe mba nkola video za TikTok sikyayogera nnyo ku bintu bibanyiga. Abalungi gye bali abatraffic naye ababi be basingamu obungi. So yes, Michael, the collaboratively made cars are still good cars. They'll still be very easy to maintain, not as cheap. How much can I get sound speakers for $1,000? Speakers kati manya nti emitwalo nga 5 buli muzindaalo. 50k per speaker, the good ones at least. They can even go higher, but I think if you're buying used ones, 50,000. Ronald Mucho, good morning. How much you feeling SC? SC is about 60,000. If your SC system has no problem. Mr. Arthur, what is the difference between GDI engine and EFI and VVTI? GDI is a technology that is not a Toyota technology. It's direct injection. Fuel just goes. There is a way the fuel goes in. It's a system of fuel. It's a system of fuel, and apparently it's complicated. It has a lot of components. It's like how they developed VVTI. VVTI is an improvement of EFI. Before EFI, there was a carburetor. The carburetor was a system still of fuel injection. Then they created EFI, which was electronic. Carburetor was not electronic. The carburetor was a carburetor system where the carburetor opened manually. Okay? If it gets blocked, it has no force to take fuel through. Ensonga lwaki emmotoka za carburetor zaabeerangamu nnyo obusaaniiko ng'akasaaniko bwe kagendamu amafuta ng'emmotoka egaana okutambula. But then they brought the electronic one where it has power, pressure, electronically created. Okitegeera. And then they created the VVTI, which is more improved. The EFI was good, but then it did not save as much fuel as the VVTI saves. Now, the GDI is something that I really have to get in, but it's mostly a Mitsubishi technology. Okitegeera. My auntie borrowed from me 2 years down the road. When I asked for my money, she quarreled as if nali muwemudde. She called everyone to report me for being ill-mannered. Bwento nenzi gwayo. That's something, eh? That's something. And you know, parents of these days are very quick to say, oh man, Ankubi Omugo. Hey, we are the show we are writing for YouTube. Someone went through a particular experience with their parents, and they wrote an episode. And as we were reading it, we said, you have poured your heart out in this episode. You guys, you should be ready to see this episode. I'll be sharing links when we start shooting. Right now we are still in the writing phase. And mwana muwala yateeka omutima gwe mu episode eri yonna how the parent actually did behaved. Omwana ankubye omuggo, omwana ampemudde. Oh, parents of these days bannange. Michael UG, good morning. Godfrey Tambala, John's Info. Arthur, is it worth me selling out the Alteza for a Mac-X? Pius, that should be a mathematical issue with you. Do you think you can manage the Mac-X fuel consumption? And then you ask yourself, how much has the Alteza been taking per liter? If it has been giving you about 8 to 7 kilometers, then you can manage the Mac-X definitely. Because Mac-X's also do between 7 to 8 kilometers per liter if you don't overstep, and if you're not doing SC. I'm sure if you do SC in Mac-X, you will take about 5 kilometers per liter. So it's a mathematical issue. Me, I find that a person that can manage an Alteza can definitely manage a Mac-X. The Alteza is not really very as fuel efficient as the Mark II Musota. Atola ni Mark II Musota yenyini abantu bagika abantu enywa. How was the fuel consumption of the Isuzu D-Max? I saw the review, it was good. It's live. Finally. You guys in the simanyi kyatuka ku internet ya fennaku zino. That Isuzu D-Max video has uploaded for almost 2 days. Almost 2 days. And I'm still uploading just that one. Yeah. So anyway, guys, my question to you ngabwenziramu ebibyo, do you think the parents of these days are the same like the parents of the past? And do you think what they are doing is proper? Okuzaalukuka abaana abaabwe because babazaalukuka. Omwana aweereza muzadde we ssente, omuzadde ssente n'azirya, omwana bw'ayogerako omuzadde ng'azaalukuka embwa. Okitegeera? They are very quick to do that. Guys, the traders are still rioting, but they are still striking because Kampala has not been as empty as this in a very long time. Of course, there are those that are betraying them. But at least the ones that are feeling the pinch of the taxes. You see, unions are very powerful. That's why politicians do divide and rule. They do divide and rule because once you divide the people, it's very easy to rule them. While some other people will be saying, let's strike, the ones that you showed love will say, Ate, why are we striking? And then they won't. That's why countries in places like Africa where we have so many tribes, it's very hard to develop. While some people are pushing for development, other people are comfortable with underdevelopment because as long as they get food, right? So that's why I think places like Uganda will be underdeveloped for a very long time. While some people have been exposed and they know that they need to develop, some other people are okay with not having money. They are okay with dying of malaria. They are okay of having potholes. Okitegeera, yono watu wateka saafu enejawo ngada bange watono. So anyway guys, that's the discussion for today. Ngenda kupakinga, then I read your questions atenda zo tuziddemu amanye answer ku bibuuzo. You guys, I'm sure you guys wonder why I hoot a lot. I'm too cautious of the road. Kati the last time I hooted mbadde nzijanga loole eri wali nenengera omusajja wansi w'emipiira gya loole ng'agenda kuyingira ekkubo. So I was hooting to alert him that why waliyo emmotoka omuntu asobola okusala bw'atyo n'omukuba. Okitegeera ate when it has rained the roads are very very slippery nti ojja kusiba emipiira gyo gigaana okusiba wisange ng'omuntu omutomedde ng'ate during the dry day tewali mutomedde naye kati nga omutomedde. Guys, ndabye omwana ow'essomero wa high school ng'asuula akaveera mu kkubo. I find that these are things that we should be teaching our sisters and brothers nti it's not okay for you to drop rubbish on the road, wait and get a dustbin or a rubbish pit or a rubbish bin and drop your rubbish there. Naye abazadde abasinga munaye tebatendeka baana baabwe bintu ebyo. And then even the schools, I think, don't put in as much effort in making sure that the kids understand the dangers that exist with us trashing on the road or trashing in the environment, because at least bw'oteeka kasasiro w'alina okugenda, then it can be recycled by the right people. Okitegeera. I found that the Isuzu D-Max was okay. Actually, natekamu omutwalo gumu ogw'amafuta netwetoloola ekintu. The reason why the Isuzu D-Max review was short is because it rained and then we had to take it back. Kitegeera. Enkuba yatonya ne tulinda ekye neegaana. And then we said, let's use the footage we have and then put it out there. And then the reason why the pre-motion video is going to be short is because of the same reasons. Okitegeera. Them cursing their kids is to intimidate or blackmail the kids, not to demand for their money. Nze nebikolimira tebikyandya, nze onkolimira n'enkuviira n'engenda. Ate omuntu bakolimira kitegeeza aba enemy. The moment someone wishes you bad, they are your enemy, whether they are your parents or not. The moment someone curses you, it means they don't wish you well. Oba olina kumuviira, nze bwonkolimira nga nkuviira tetuddamu nakwogera, ne bwe bampita ku pate nga gy'oli sijja. I'm the Viking kind of person, because the Vikings, if they could not kill you, they would avoid you. I only trust myself with my money. These things of sending to parents, brothers and sisters to do for me stuff, webankuba guba gusinga gwe. Webakuba Arthur, as a marketer, what lessons did you learn from Nokia being a market leader and the sudden downfall to the bottom, that the company was even sold to Microsoft? Well, I find that in our digital marketing class, we cover something that is called the product life cycle. The product life cycle, where is the book? Let me draw the product life cycle for you. The product life cycle. Of course, the same curve applies to the customers. We also have a customer lifetime cycle. Tukuba curve. This is the zero, the beginning point, and the product starts at zero. Nekula. It reaches a peak point, and then it goes down. Okay, that's what we call the product life cycle. This could be time, and then this could be value. Yeah, as time goes, the value increases, and then it reaches a time and the value has reached up there, and then it goes down. Now, the reason why the product value will go down is because of so many reasons. Some of the reasons include introduction of new products that are better than you by the competition, and sometimes it would be a change in the culture, a change in the business environment, and all that. And marketers are trained to see these things coming. When a marketer sees these things coming, then they need to start preparing and see a way forward. I'll give you an example. What happened to Nokia could have happened to Omo. You guys remember Omo? I've given this example, I think, in so many of the Tuesday live broadcasts. Omo was the biggest detergent in Uganda. You guys remember? And it used to Twaguranga Omo. I think the circuit was over 1K. And then Nomi came. Nomi introduced the circuit of 500. And then Omo was really expensive to buy in buckets. Then Nomi brought buckets of 2,000. At that time, they were 2,000 shillings. And then Nomi took over the market. And then Omo was going down the Nokia way. Now, what Omo did was they did not stay on the old ways of doing things. What they did is what they normally do, what good marketers do. They reintroduced Omo in a new circuit, in a new brand that felt different. That's how they introduced Aereo. Okay? Now Aereo was introduced to beat Nomi. Now we can all understand that Aereo actually had an impact on Nomi. So Omo stayed, Aereo stayed. Okay? Omo stayed and Aereo stayed. And Omo is for the high class people that don't mind spending a buck, and then Aereo is for the people that want to spend small money. And then Nomi still exists, but Nomi is not as big as it used to be. So I find that what happened with Nokia, they just did not adjust. You need to understand that everything that goes up will at a certain time have to come down. And that's why Toyota keeps reinventing the wheel. That's why they had the Mark II, the 90. They brought the GX100. They brought the GX110. The GX110 is the Mark II Grand. And then when GX110 in 2002, then they created the Mark X. I think the GX110 stopped in 2004. Then 2005 they brought the Mark X. Then they continued creating the Mark X, which take it. And then when you go and you see how they created the newer, then they brought the Alphard, then they brought the Velfire. What they know is that everything that goes up must come down. So you need to keep innovating as an individual or as a business to stay on top. Yes, someone has paid 20K. Thank you very much. So you need to understand as a business person that if you go up, you must come down. So some time ago, someone came to me to propose business to me. They wanted me to do a TV show. And I asked them, okay, you want me to do a TV show, how much are you paying me? And then what kind of content am I going to create for the TV that I don't create for my channel? And how much am I going to be making? Because the moment you take me on TV, I'm almost diluting what I'm creating here. Of course, there are angles I can create TV shows in. But then it has to be something that is not on the YouTube channel. Because, and I think that's why when NBS is giving you a job, then they ask you to quit all your YouTube channels. Because then you're competing with the station. So you need to be able to create something that is different from what you do on YouTube. So as a marketer, you need to think. That's why I've told you time and again, people call me for influencer gigs. And then I ask them, okay, how much are you paying me? Okay, and what's the angle of your influencing? I don't want to go and influence for a brand that might harm me. What if your product is not actually that good? Okay, what if your product is not that good? And then I've already told people to go use it, and then people start using it, and then eventually they say, oh, this product wasn't that good. So that's how I stay away from influencing. Abantu banji bakola influencing, and their kind of influencing is not actually, they don't even have the numbers. They don't even influence anyone. What they're doing is that they're creating a vibe for the product. Which that's how uchemba mula bantinze videos antizile mula ngomba funa abantu. pisizawo akalango kano nja kuwaayo 3 and then I'm thinking to myself, yes, emitwalo 3 malungi, but is money the only thing you're working for? Okitegeera guys, I've just realized nti essimu eri ku 15%. Okay, so yesawo basiibula. Good morning, Arthur. Can 18 million get a room 2007? Yes, you can. Staples, Richard, your comment yabaddewa nga sijiraba. Damu comment yonna Richard. Good morning, Arthur. Kan lero is question Friday. Lero kankubuuza ebibuuzo byange oti buuza lero question Friday, you can ask all your questions. Siva nga sibizem. Arthur, is it true parents curse their own children? I mean service and that's to semicolon. Parents basenga bakola ebintu just because omwana aleeta omusajja and they do a lot era mwegendereze. Man, I've seen those stories of relatives doing things kwanjira kwa baana baabwe, and for some time I even got scared. Ningambo bangambe mama bani tata wetu mwaka sente tukiveemu okitegeera, because the stories are scary guys, eh? They are really scary. Seth Kagaba is saying, I'm for the African way of raising kids, because what I've seen, bro, I can't raise my kids in Europe. The African way always works, but the African way is a little straining on the kids, the way they express themselves. So you can raise, you have a mixture of both. Let your kids be able to express themselves. So apart from being overpriced, in your opinion, given Raum new shape and Ranex 2005, which would you take? I think if they were the same price, I would take the Ranex. Okay, if there was the same price and the same condition, but I'm sure that the Raum can't be at the same price as the Ranex. Okay? Ranex bagiseera nnyo okitegeera. Era ojja kwesanga Raum and the Ranex in the same price when the Raum is in better condition. So with my experience, I'll take the Raum. I remember talking about black tax, and you advised me here. Now siri mukodo kyokka wabula manyino kaaba nti my visa is out era I need guys mukaabe nze nkaaba of course siri bulungi nnyo but era nze sinze nkaaba. Omuzadde tasobya is taken out of context. It literally means it's not your position to correct your parents, especially if you're below 18 years. In fact, it's disrespectful. Said Kagawa, what if you're above 18? What if you're above 18? Ekyo kintu abazadde bakitwala up to 45. Omuzadde alina emyaka nkaaga, gw'olina emyaka 4 naye ng'era akugamba omuzadde tasobya. Naye ng'olumu omanyi okumusinga. African mindset is corrupted into receiving but not giving. That's why baagala alina. Naye nze jjajja wange yaŋŋamba omwavu tayagalika. Era nze kati ekyo nkimanyi. Me, I work to get money. I work to get money, and when I don't have money, I try to avoid my grandmother because I know she'll be disappointed. Nze yaŋŋamba omuntu atalina ssente tabeereka naye. Okitegeera olina okukola n'obaamuko n'akasente. Okitegeera. But my own father is different. The guy loves us and I'm his first son. So yanjagala nnyo bambi because I know abawala entirely. We are 2 boys, 4 girls. Naye nze yambulamu n'alinnya Kyessebo. He's Mr. Nsereko Senior. N'erinnya n'alikuwa. I'm so grateful for my mom. She has been a good parent by setting an example for everyone. Today, many of our Cheyo friends and relatives trust her with their savings instead of their own people. That's one of the special case parents. Good morning, car lovers. Not all parents are like that. A case in point, my parents can even lend you money when you're stuck. Now the light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Seth, you're right, because in actual sense, Ababa I'm your parent, so you can't tell me what to do whatsoever. It's just that most parents didn't put streams of cash flow, but wise parents that have planned for posterity are self-reliant. That's what we should do. We should be like Nicholas's parents. Okadiwengo inawo sente ngojoga no kujoga. Yesterday we were talking in the car with the mechanic I worked with yesterday, and we were saying naika chinyu manotoke myaka nkaga ngoina asset ze zikuletira akasimbi ngokubi Sorry, network. Arthur, how can I get to know that the vehicle I'm buying is under platinum credit or bangeri ne omusango, like knocking someone? Omusango, ebisere emu yinza obutagumanya, yeah, ebisere emu yinza obutagumanya, but emmotoka eziriko loan zibeerako caveat. Then emmotoka ezimu ezirina emisango bazi blacklisting, nga ffe tuba tukola inspection tubikebera. Emmotoka eri sobola okugimanya nti kati bagi blacklist waliwo emisango egimu egita omuntu asobola okukoona omuntu n'adduka ne batamumanya nti yakoona omuntu ever, okitegeera. naye bwe tukola inspection tukebera okulaba oba emmotoka eriko blacklist, okitegeera. naye Arthur, nze my dad told me, son, go out there and hustle for your own, for as long as you're fine, I'm okay. nze yeetuma ne ŋŋamba kamuwe kati oye taata alina kubeera bw'atyo, tolina kubeerawo ng'olinze baana. Arthur, I had a very rough talk with my dad in the past. Every time he would want money from me, he would start those things of, I suffered for you to study and now you're not giving me money. Wamugamba otya? Richard, Arthur nze ntegeeza obuuma bwe basiba ku bode z'emmotoka mu joints ezedda tezaabeerangako obustaples. Ogamba buno obusiba bampa oba libits. Ogamba livits oba buno bwe basiba ku bampa zireme kugwa. Naye nze, if my parents used my money, it's 100% okay with me. With or without my permission, there is nothing I can repay them. That's something I have never thought. I don't have to repay them. Like, Urban doesn't have to repay. Okitegeera, so simubanja. Nze neetuma ne ŋŋamba kamuzaale. Okitegeera, so there is no way, there is no reason for Urban to ever feel like, oh, what can I ever give my dad? Okitegeera, there is nothing. There is nothing. I don't think I owe my parents anything. I don't. They decided. Sagena nembakaka. Era ne boyamba muntu n'omukwatako n'omuyambako. They don't owe you anything because they did not ask you to help them. Actually, ne bwakusaba okumuyamba, you helping them is not dependent on them asking you. It's dependent on whether you want to help them or not. Their ego won't let them ask for permission. Parents come from a place of having authority over you and think they can do as they please without having to ask. Arthur, I'm sorry to share this. The person who raised me had the same thinking of producing a child, but painfully the kid died nearly as he was about to join school after a lockdown. Oh, that's bad. The strike was called off yesterday. It was called off yesterday. Arthur, tell us about smart air tags. Ebyo bideke tebikola nammwe. Tebikola. Just buy trackers. Buy trackers. Bwemuloza senga air tags zaali zikola senga tebazikozesa globally for staff. Ezo air tags zisobola okukolera ekintu omanyi we kibeera all the time naye nga kimanyi okukubulako. Okitegedde? And then, like I said, I think we talked about it on Sunday. The AirTags will work in a country where there is a lot of iPhone connectivity. If there is none, like Uganda, like where I am, katuwendi wano, oizo kunonya iPhone ngeriwe. I heard you talking about Bukede TV nenseka. That TV over yabachi. Their bulletin news is always misery. Mbemotoka ekonye ekiyumba ky'embizi neeyika. But Arthur, these foul plugs, they are expensive. Are they worth it? Yes. I bought plugs for this car that I'm seated in at 400 over 420. Me, I don't buy plugs from anywhere else. I bought the plugs in this car at 420. Arthur, have you noticed of late on the roads there are fewer taxis? Yes. There are fewer, and I think the ones that have invested in them are making a killing. Bashir Mukaras, good morning. Viola Namiro, Paul Sema, good morning. Paul Sema VIP. Arthur, I saw a video of a trader saying that every car, yes, my taxes are high. Taxes, the government makes a lot of money from us. It's over Ivan. It doesn't when someone to agama anti waluwa batasasura musoro. Kale oba tosasude direct tax, but everyone is paying indirect tax. Ochitegera kumafuta government. No, tugende ku motor third party insurance. The government takes more money than the insurance companies. Arthur, remember what happened to Abed Adebayo, how he lost his entire life fortune with his mom and sisters orchestrating the losses. Man, Africa, nze simanyira lwaki Abafirika tulowooza nga bwe tulowooza. Arthur, how did you fix your Ractis key? I also have the same problem. I bought a battery. Mu bondi eyo ye kiri wekisumuluzo olowooza manyine wekiri. This is the problem with push to start. You can be there isumuluzo nekikubulako nga kiri mu mmotoka kandabe. Mwekiri mu mmotoka. The fact that emmotoka eyakabwana mwekiri naye simanyi wekiri. I don't know where it is. Naye mwekiri. Nokia dropped because the company got comfortable and did not invest in advancing their technology. Small companies then, like Apple, were eager to get into the market, came with new tech like Touch Key. Morad K Momo, thank you for the 20k. Morad K Momo, mpade ye chebiri. Mumulabye gundi ye bweri ya orange. Thank you, Morad K Momo. Arthur, you really make my day. But Arthur, why? I'm going to put the Google Drive here today. Influencing can be costly and risky, like VJ Junior and Capital Chicken. Exactly. You don't just influence. But it takes someone knowing what their brand is worth and what you can lose by it simply influencing for people. Bashir Mukalazi, okusasula ki mukwano. Lwaki emmoroka z'ebiseera bino baziteekako nnyo bu staples ku baati ng'ate ezidda teziriiko. Bakola fake staples zeki. Sinalaba step ku baati gwe gy'ogamba. Ezo rivets tuzitera kuwa ne Uganda. Emmoroka ejja teriiko yadde akantu. But the reason lwaki ffe tu riveting out because abaana babbako bu parts. Ochegede Richard, those rivets, it's us Ugandans that put them there because our young people steal a lot. Good morning. What is your say on buying a car from neighboring countries? They seem cheaper. Still, you have to pay taxes here. So it's all the same. Either you pay taxes or you do magadivenga. You do side, you go and get a number plate for another car and put it on that car, which is also risky. Arthur, I'm like you. I grew up with my grandparents. That's why I love them more than the real parents. And I learned a lot of lessons from them. Arthur, some of us, our parents behave as if they gave us school fees on loan. Nze nga nkudduka. Nze the moment I see that okulembeza ebibyo okusinga ebyange, nze nga nkudduka. My parents acknowledge I'm their son. Now I'm grown. They refer to me as young man. As long as I'm independent, that comes with some level of respect. At how much is making a copy of a push to start key? Between 250 and 450k. I've not done it, but just know it's not as cheap as the other key. Watch the gate. Sometimes if you're a careful person, you may not need to actually make a copy. Just be careful. Don't give out your car to Chisoda Mazi and you'll be good. By the way, Arthur, share me the link to download your music. I'm going to put it today. So guys, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. I need to say bye-bye now. Muyombia Mark, Morad K Momo VIP, Ampadeo Neche Video Rwalero, Antonio Random Things VIP, Tumukunde Moses, Mukwaya Richard, Tusime Edim, Galasi Joshua Mixed Farm, Nathan 256, Studio 93 House Designs, Brigitte Kakai, Abdurrahim Kasita, Chizatateo VIP, Football Tribe, Saif Kagaba, Ntale Samuel, Travel Life Vlog, Edrin Mugirwa, Nathan 256, Nathan, Nsereko Starch, Pius Lubowa, Waboyi Nelson, Lucky Mose, Muyombia Mark Nakumaze, Saif Kagaba, Patrick Rio, Poultry Farm Oyopade, Mujunansi Michael, Football Tribe, Kawagama Enoch, Louis, Council Patrick Asiku, Travel Life Vlog, Eguma David, Kato Muhammad, Omeja Moses, Twa Awarakira, Heath Moses, Kabali Moses, Mujunansi Michael, Deep in Coffee, Ronald Muchwa, Chitumba Solomon, Michael UG, Godfrey Tambala, Jonesy Info, Kwen Yiga, Nicolas Sebulime, Kisa Mashadrak, Edrin Mugirwa, Triple M Bashir Mukalazi, Viola Namiro, Paul Sema VIP, Johnson Luwinga, to Naire. And you guys that are in the Kamoli, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. I don't take it for granted. Tomorrow's broadcast will be in the evening at 5:15 p.m. May the good Lord bless you, and ciao.